Okay, YouTube. Todd here again, some guitar guy. First off, thanks for watching. So, another video, going to bounce back over to the S40 for a couple of vids. And this, I just have to split this up. It's just getting too long, kind of getting too involved in this. But today, I do want to talk about this guy or this system here, which is your decompression solenoid and relay on your Suzuki Savage Boulevard S40 LS650, and how to quickly and for free check it, make sure it's working the way it should, and again for free, maybe kind of a quick fix, get it going again until you have more time to clean it and and kind of address it properly. And I think these things are pretty common to fail. I mean, my bike is an '06. When I bought it last year, it only had 5,500 miles, and the previous owner in 10 years had only put about 1,500 miles. It was the epitome of a garage queen, and the system failed. I think just some dirt, and it wasn't much, got in between the actuator and the body of the solenoid and jammed it. And it was unable to actually move and do its job. So to quickly check it, you may read online or hear people say, "Oh, just look at the linkage on the other side." Well, that's great, but you can't see the linkage, okay, because of this chrome trim cover on both sides of the top of the head. So you can't tell if it's working or not. And people may say, "Well, just listen for the click." Well, all this happens in 7/10 of a second. So it's a very short timeline, and it doesn't really make a click sound, at least not to me. It's more of a clack because this actuator basically slams shut. That's a little bit dramatic, but closes really quickly. This is two metal pieces, and there's a little rubber pad that goes around the outside, kind of to quieten it down. But in the starter motor and all that, it's really, once you hear it, you know what to listen for, and it makes more of a clack to me. It's more of a metallic sound. But to quickly check it at absolutely no cost, zero cost, go out to your bike. You can contort yourself to be able to hold the clutch and work the starter and look up under the bike. And this is on the right side under the tank. You can see the tank here. You can see the frame, the top of the top of the engine, the little chrome trim cover, the valve cover. And this is what you'll see. It's kind of an awkward angle. It's an awkward shot to get. And it will be in the open position or deactivated position as mine is here. Now here's probably is not going to have this dripping this white goo. That's actually a penetrating lithium grease I used to fix it until I had time to go back and actually pull the tank, pull the seat, pull the tank, and two bolts that hold this together and clean it out. But look up, find it, maybe use a light. Probably safest to get a buddy to work the starter, but you can do it yourself. And thumb the starter, and if this does not clack shut, then it's not working. Or if it does not clack shut completely, it's not working, and you have a problem. Why is this important? Well, this is a starting aid. This is what makes it much, much easier on your starter and really on your alternator and battery too, to get the bike going, to get it started up. The starter barely can overcome this, and that's probably the biggest symptom of a jammed or malfunctioning decompression system is the starter stall. So it'll sound something like rah, rah, okay, and then it'll barely muscle its way through that compression stroke. That's what this guy does, is relieves that compression for 7/10 of a second, so one or two maybe cycles. So anyway, watch that. If it's working, if it's clacking shut, if you do it, I don't know, 5 times, 10 times, and every time, and it's going all the way and releasing, and it's spring loaded, so it should return to this fully open position. But if 5 or 10 out of 10 times it's working, then you're done. Okay, you can rest assured going about your business. And then if you didn't know what to listen for, you've gotten a much better ear on it from this angle, and you know what to listen for. If, however, it doesn't move, like in my case, at all, then you know you have a little work to do. Fortunately, kind of the part two, you've identified it, you see it. The fix, again, is quite simple, at least short term. Just a blade tip screwdriver, and find, like right here below the bracket, you may want to wrap that in a rag or something to minimize any scratching against the frame, but simply work it behind the actuator, between the actuator and the frame, and that may be enough, just moving it a little bit, because that's going to compress that whole actuator just a bit. And then try it. And then if that doesn't work, then start twisting, right, a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left, maybe prying even a little bit, and see if you can get it to work. And then mine started working like magically. But say 1 out of 5 times, it wouldn't close completely. It seemed to hang up. So that's where your WD-40 comes in. Use the straw, probably start up here up top. And I wasn't very liberal with it. I think you can be as liberal as you want. I wouldn't use a whole can, maybe stuff a rag down here to catch drips. But use that WD-40 not only to lubricate, but also to kind of flush out whatever has gotten in there. Just dirt, dust, whatever. And it's a pretty tight little tolerance. I'll show you another shot here of what it looks like taken apart. So I did that with WD-40, but you see this is right on top of the engine, and it's kind of in that little channel there. So it lasted maybe 3 days. The WD-40, I guess, evaporated off just from the heat, and it's a very, very thin oil to begin with. So it started hanging up. So that's where this goo comes from. I had some penetrating lithium grease. It worked much better, and I was a lot more liberal with it. So that got me through a couple of days until I actually did have time to go out and pull the seat in the tank and disassemble it and really wipe it down and clean inside. And I figured I was going to find, just a lot of corrosion or dirt or whatever. But this is what I found. And it's really not that bad. And you see that penetrant really kind of did its job. It's just 2 bolts once you get and the electrical connection. Once you get the seat and the tank off. So yeah, I wiped it down really good, cleaned inside and out, got all the goo off, and the grease left enough of a film that I just reassembled it as it was. You could probably use about anything. You could maybe WD-40, but grease is going to stay around a little longer. Maybe some dielectric grease would be probably the best. I just didn't happen to have any. But reassemble it and go from there. So the next video, go into a little bit more detail on how to adjust it and actually how it works. And you actually use this push rod here. That's the whole purpose of this rod thing, to adjust it coming out of the housing. But this will, quick check to see if it's working. If it's not working, at least get it working until you have time for a more thorough breakdown and it's not really a repair, just cleaning it, getting it working and operational. You should have a screwdriver and probably some WD-40 laying around, so it'll cost you $0, and hopefully save some wear and tear on that starter and a much, much more expensive repair later on. That's all I have for today, guys. Again, thanks for watching. Please remember to do the YouTube thing, like, share, all that, comment, subscribe. Love to read comments. And until next time, two wheels down. Thanks, guys.